Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I'm going to do a little speed paint for you here. I was just kind of sketching on this sample of paper that my friend the Spin Doctor had sent me over from England, and I really didn't have high hopes for this picture. I just wanted to kind of play with the paper and see how it went. That's why I'm painting on the side that has the information about the paper. So what I'm doing here is just sketching in this little cat face with some really pale brown. I had mixed a couple of colors. I'm using colors I'm not used to using actually too, because Rich also sent me over a bunch of samples of different paints that he had that he knew I didn't have. So it was kind of fun just to play with those colors and see what I could get. Now, if I had to do this again, I would have done it on the back side of the paper probably, and I would have started off with a pencil sketch so that I could have made sure I had my eyeballs in the right place and everything all set before I started to paint, because I can tell you right now the eyes are too close to the nose. But I was just anxious to paint, and I really wasn't, concerned with making a masterpiece. That's why I was painting on the sample, and I was just kind of having fun with it. So that's all right too. There definitely was no pressure with this painting. So what I'm trying to do here is build up layers of color. So I'm starting with a fairly light wash, and I'm mixing my grays. I'm using some blue and some reddish brown. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar enough with the colors to rattle them off at the top of my head, but I was just kind of getting this first just very pale layer in, drying it, and then I'm going in with some more colors. Now the way the cat is sitting, you can kind of see its back as well, so I'm getting that in there with a little bit darker of color, so hopefully there'll be enough contrast between the face and the body so it doesn't just look like a big cat blob, even though sometimes we have cats that look like big cat blobs because they're fat cats. But this wasn't the case. This was a cute little kitten, and I wanted it to look pretty cute. I have to be honest, I struggled with this quite a bit, but I wasn't really that much of a struggle. I mean, I was having a fun time painting with it, but I did have some issues where my eyes weren't perfectly aligned, and I maybe got something in a little too dark, or one misplaced line in a small picture like this can really kind of make you feel a little defeated. But I think that a lot of times when people are painting, they do not go far enough. They quit before the painting's ready. They kind of quit at the hot mess stage. Like, we're kind of at the hot mess stage right here. It looks like kind of some mangy rabid cat at this point. You got to keep pushing through it. You got to keep persevering. I'm working with the paper flat at the table, and I find that if I tip it up and I look at it while it's upright, I get a much better idea of how it's going. Also, flipping it around upside down helps me figure things out too. So I could tell I need more color. The eyes are looking really weird at this point, and I'll show you how I kind of overcome that a little bit later. But you're going to see, because I did speed this up, this took about 45 minutes originally. You're going to see it go through these different phases of hot mess and, oh, it looks all right now. Oh, I just messed it up. You're going to see me go through those different phases. And I think it's kind of important because I think if you don't have a lot of painting experience, you can be painting along and think it's going great, and then it takes a turn for the worse, and then you think, oh great, I just ruined it. I should have stopped 3 steps ago. When in fact, what maybe you needed to do is just relax, step away from it, let it breathe a bit, and then come back with fresh eyes. Or you just need to push further because you don't have enough layers of color or detail. Every time you see that hairdryer come out, that's me drying another layer so I can go on top. Because if I try to fuss in while something is still wet, it's just all my lines are just gonna blur. Now I realized that I wasn't gonna get the sharpness that I wanted with the watercolors, so I'm going in with some colored pencil. And you're gonna see me probably repaint those eyes about 20 times. I mean, it's crazy. I keep going in, I keep adjusting. The pupils constantly are looking weird to me. But I'm just pushing it through. This is a very durable paper, so it can take this kind of abuse. So if you're like a color pencil artist and you find that your paper just can't hack it against your techniques, try a watercolor paper. Even one of the lesser expensive watercolor papers is going to be more durable than a pastel paper, and you can get more layers of pastel. This was a fairly rough feeling paper. And well, it is rough. It's 300-pound rough. It almost felt like cardboard. It was pretty cool, but it could definitely take all of the layers of things I've been adding to it. You can see I got a gel pen there. I've used the acrylic paint pens a little bit too. I mean, I've just been pretty much throwing everything I can at this paper, trying to make the eyes look right, basically. But that's part of the process. I mean, I think if you're an artist who never has a struggle when you're working, then then you're not pushing yourself. You're not, I don't want to say you're not trying hard enough, but you're not getting out of that comfort zone enough that if you never feel like you're completely out of your depth sometimes. And I don't do a ton of wildlife, so wildlife is a little challenging for me. I think it's a lot easier to make a wildlife picture or like a portrait look odd if you don't have something just right, whereas, you know, nature and flowers and landscapes are a little more forgiving in that respect. I have to say that I absolutely love having my colored pencils within reach. I recently put a little table next to where I sit, and I have my colored pencil box open, and I can just reach in there whenever I want a pencil, and it is so nice just to grab those and go anytime I feel like it. I'm starting to like the way things are turning out now, so I'm just like kind of adjusting colors a little bit, like making the nose a little pinker, and just, you know, brightening up the eyes and, you know, adding deeper shadows like over the eyes and under the mouth and that sort of thing. But as you go, you want to make smaller adjustments. You don't want to go in with huge adjustments at this point. Now here, excuse me, I just grabbed some watercolor paint because I felt like I wanted to loosen it up a little bit, and I'm just dabbing on some different shades of brown there to help bring it to life. She just kind of have this little crazed look at her eye though. I mean, look at her face. She looks like she's gonna like attack you in your sleep. I mean, I don't know. Something a little strange about that about that cat, but it turned out I actually liked it all right. It actually looks a lot like my cat. So and that cat is a little crazed. So I mean, I guess it's pretty appropriate. So I like the fact that when you do use a durable watercolor paper, that you can keep layering. I'm layered colored pencil, then I layered watercolor on top of that. Colored pencil isn't always going to resist the watercolor. It will stick here and there, and I think it's a really interesting technique when you try that. And you can see I just painted over those gel pen highlights I put in there because they were kind of messed up looking. And there, redoing the pupils because, again, just can't seem to get them right. Now I've got kind of lopsided highlights going on there, but they might look fine in a minute. I'm letting them dry and I'm letting them percolate to see what happens. I find the gel pen's really great for doing little hairs like whiskers and hairs in the ears. It's just so much easier to achieve it that way than to try to fuss around with masking fluid. And the acrylic paint pen can kind of help you because it's not a glossy pen. It's the Jane Davenport mixed media markers. It kind of, or paint over pens, it almost has like a little bit of a matte finish, so I can go right over that with colored pencils and watercolors, and it seems to stick all right. So it's kind of a nice little kind of undo button sometimes. And here I'm just kind of pinking up things a little bit and making small adjustments, and that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this little artist pep talk / tutorial / speed paint. I don't know what to call it, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you push through your next painting even after the hot mess stage and you think it's trashed. Keep pushing through, and I think you'll be surprised at how well it turns out. Thanks for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.